Welcome back to the deep dive. We are continuing our journey through a very specific and I think really revolutionary roadmap to financial independence.
It is good to be back. And you're right, revolutionary is a good word for it, not because it's, reinventing everything from scratch, but because it puts the pieces together in a way that actually works. We are deep in our analysis of the 3 stages, 13 steps to financial independence.
Right. And for anyone just joining us, maybe for the first time, we should probably set the stage. Who created this roadmap we're following?
Well, this is the brainchild of Tamir Khaham. Tamir is the originator and really the architect of this entire strategy. He's the creator of the YouTube channel, The Golden Path to Financial Independence.
Okay.
But what I think makes his perspective so unique, and we're really going to see it today, is that he is also the official Hebrew translator of the classic book, The Richest Man in Babylon.
I just love that detail. It's such a fascinating combination, isn't it? You've got this modern systems engineering mindset.
Right.
But it's blended with this ancient, almost timeless financial wisdom.
It's the blend that gives it power. Engineering gives you the system, but the wisdom gives you the soul. And today, we're really hitting the core of that wisdom. We're analyzing step 13 of the strategy, focused and continuous learning.
Step 13. Now, there's a quote from his translation work from The Richest Man in Babylon that really seems to set the tone for this whole thing.
Yes, it's a really pivotal moment in that book. The quote is, "Therefore did I decide to find out how one might accumulate wealth, and when I had found out, to make this my task and do it well."
Therefore did I decide. It sounds so simple, but that's a huge psychological shift, right? It's admitting you don't know something and then committing to actually fix that.
Exactly, and that commitment is everything. It's what separates people who just drift from those who actually build.
So just to position this is our 12th deep dive on the topic. We're speaking to a pretty specific audience, salaried individuals, people trying to make that leap from financial dependence to asset ownership, from employee to asset owner. That's the big identity shift we keep coming back to.
Correct. And today, step 13 is what the documentation calls the parallel backbone.
Okay, I want to stop you right there. Parallel backbone. We've gone through 12 steps. We've talked the mindset, budgeting, getting out of debt, buying assets. Step 13 just sounds like it's the last thing you do.
Yeah, that's what everyone thinks.
Like, I do all the hard work, steps 1 through 12, and then I can finally retire to a library and read books. But that's not it.
That is the single biggest misconception about this strategy. Because it's a numbered list, our brains just want it to be linear. 1, then 2, then 3. But step 13 is totally different. It's not the finish line. It's more like an operating system that's running in the background in parallel with every single other step from day 1.
So it's not the roof you put on the house at the end. It's the steel beams inside the walls from the beginning.
That's a perfect way to put it. And to really get why it's so critical, we have to make a distinction that Tamir really insists on. Financial independence is not the same as wealth.
We hear those terms used interchangeably all the time, though. I want to be wealthy. I want FI. What's the difference here?
Financial independence, or FI, is an engineering state. It's a calculation. It means your passive income covers your living expenses. That's it. You've bought your time back. You have freedom. That is the goal.
Okay, so freedom first.
Freedom first, wealth. Wealth is surplus. It's accumulation beyond what you need. And step 13, this continuous learning, is the engine that gets you to freedom without crashing. And if you decide to go for massive wealth later, it's the only thing that'll keep you from losing it all.
You mentioned crashing. There's a hook for this step in the notes that I think really drives this home. It's the dark room analogy.
Yes, this is a very visceral image. I really want you to picture this. Imagine someone asks you to sprint through a dark, unfamiliar room filled with obstacles. Sprint! No way. I'd be shuffling my feet, hands out in front of me, terrified of smashing my shin on a coffee table or something. Exactly. You would move slowly, you would hesitate, and probably you would crash into something that hurts. This is how most people move through their financial life, running towards success in total darkness.
That is painfully accurate, just hoping you don't run into something you couldn't see coming.
And when they hit a wall, a market crash they didn't understand, a big tax bill they never saw, they call it bad luck. But it isn't bad luck. It is simply acting without turning on the light. Learning is the light.
Wow, that's a powerful reframe, but the light doesn't move the furniture.
No. The obstacles are always there. Inflation, recessions, laws changing. But when the light is on, you can navigate around them. You can move at full speed without breaking your legs.
So step 13 is the light switch. I love that. Okay, but let's connect this back to the structure, the parallel backbone. We've been using a rocket launch analogy for the 3 stages.
Right. Stage 1 was the launch pad mindset, preparation. Stage 2 was the launch sequence building resilience. Stage 3 was orbit, getting your assets up and running.
So if the rocket's in the air, we're step 13.
Step 13 is the guidance system. It's the flight computer. I mean, think about a real rocket launch. Do you just point it at the moon, hit go, and then, what, cross your fingers?
No, of course not. There's wind, gravity, the Earth is spinning. A million variables.
Exactly. Rockets drift. They're constantly being pushed off course. And in your financial life, you have those same crosswinds. Inflation, tax laws changing, the housing market shifts, new types of investments pop up.
So if my whole plan was built back in, say, 2015, and I'm just blindly following it now, I'm drifting.
You are drifting, and in finance, drift is incredibly expensive. If a rocket is off by just 1 degree at launch, it misses its target by thousands of miles. Without the guidance system, your continuous learning making thousands of tiny corrections, the rocket crashes.
That makes perfect sense. There's another analogy in the source material I found really helpful too, the bricks and mortar.
Ah, yes. This one tackles that idea of can't I just learn all this stuff later?
Yeah.
So think of steps 1 through 12 as the bricks of your financial house.
Okay, so my budget is a brick, my emergency fund is a brick.
Exactly. And you can stack those bricks. You can build a wall by just dry stacking them. It might even stand up for a little while.
Yeah.
But what happens when the ground shakes?
It's all coming down. It has no strength.
Step 13 is the mortar. You can't build the whole wall and then come back at the end and just smear some mortar on the outside. That's just for show.
Yeah.
It does nothing. You have to apply the mortar with every single brick you lay.
So practically speaking, when I'm working on step 4, building my emergency fund, I need to be learning about emergency funds right then, not later.
Precisely. If you try to do step 11, buy an asset, without the mortar of understanding what you're buying, that brick is loose. It's a weak point. And 10 years from now, that one loose brick could bring the whole thing down.
I want to push back on this a little bit, though. We talk about the identity shift from employee to asset owner.
Yes, that's the core of it.
Well, as you move up in the business world, you delegate more, you hire experts. So if I'm an asset owner with capital, why can't I just hire a great financial advisor, a great CPA, and just let them handle it? Why do I have to learn this stuff?
And you absolutely should hire experts. But there's a huge difference between delegating a task and abdicating your responsibility. The key concept here is that money is a language.
Money is a language. Okay, unpack that for me.
Think about it. If you go to a foreign country and you don't speak a word of the language and you hire a local guide, what's your relationship with that guide?
It's total dependence. I just have to trust that he's taking me where I asked to go, that he's telling me the truth.
Right. You have no way of knowing if he's taking you to the best restaurant in town or to his cousin's terrible restaurant that overcharges tourists. You are completely at the mercy of your translator.
And that's a terrifying thought when we're talking about your life savings.
It should be. Now, you don't have to become fluent enough to write poetry in the language of money, but you need to know enough to read the menu and check the bill. In finance, we call this auditing your experts.
Audit your experts. I like that. So I'm not doing their job for them. I'm just checking their work.
Precisely. As an asset owner, you're the CEO of your life. Your accountant, your broker, they're department heads. But if you don't know enough to ask them the right questions to challenge their assumptions, then you are vulnerable.
And it's not even that they're trying to be malicious necessarily. It's just that their incentives might not be aligned with mine.
Exactly right. A broker might recommend a product because it has a high commission. It might be the standard thing to do. But if your goal is this specific engineered golden path strategy, that standard advice could be dead wrong for you. And if you can't speak the language, you can't spot that mismatch.
So the employee mindset is, I'll pay someone to worry for me. The asset owner mindset is, I'll pay someone to execute, but I'm still the one who sets the strategy.
Correct. And this ties all the way back to that ancient wisdom. We mentioned Babylon, but there's also a principle from King Solomon on this exact point.
Okay.
The quote is, both wisdom and wealth can shield us from life's storms, but knowledge and wisdom give life to their owner.
Give life to their owner. That sounds pretty dramatic.
It is, but look at the data. Think about lottery winners.
Oh, right. The statistics are just awful.
They're tragic. Something like 70% of them go bankrupt in just a few years. Why? They had the shield. They had massive wealth.
But the shield just disintegrated.
Because they didn't have step 13.
Yeah.
They had the wealth, but not the wisdom to manage it. They were in that dark room, but with millions of dollars, and they still crashed into everything. They trusted the wrong translators. The shield eroded. Wisdom is what lets you rebuild the shield if it breaks. That's how it gives life.
Wow, that's a huge distinction. Wealth is just a tool. Wisdom is the instruction manual.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sold. I get it. But now we have to talk about the practical side, the fire hose problem.
This is where most people get stuck.
Yeah, I mean, you go online and type how to invest, and you
Yeah.
get 10 million conflicting opinions. It's crypto, real estate, stocks, bonds. It's just so overwhelming. You feel like if you don't know everything, you can't do anything. How do you deal with that?
That's the enemy. Analysis paralysis. And the solution Tamir proposes is very tactical. It's called the 30-day focused learning sprint.
A sprint. Okay, that sounds manageable. It implies there's a finish line.
There is. It's a cycle designed to turn on the light in just one small corner of that dark room at a time. First, you identify the gap. And you have to be specific. You can't say, I need to learn about the stock
Or
market.
it's way too big.
You'll drown. A good gap is, I don't understand the difference between an ETF and a mutual fund. Or even simpler, I don't know how to physically place a buy order in my brokerage account.
Okay, so I pick one specific small thing. Then what?
You set a goal, something concrete, for example. By the end of this month, I will execute one buy order for one share of an ETF. It's binary. You either did it or you didn't.
So I have my goal. Now, do I just start Googling?
No. Next, use curate sources. This is critical. Don't just doom scroll social media. Pick 2 or 3 high-quality sources, a specific book, a reputable course, the official help documents on your brokerage's website. That's it. You limit your inputs to avoid the noise.
Okay, so I'm not going down the rabbit hole, just the facts for this one problem.
Exactly. Then, schedule. You treat this study time, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever, like a mandatory meeting with your boss. You wouldn't skip that, would you?
Not if I wanted to keep my job.
Well, you're the asset owner now. You are the boss. If you blow this off, you're firing your future self.
Yeah.
You have to give it that level of respect.
That's a powerful way to think about it. Okay, so I've studied my curated sources in my scheduled time.
Then you apply. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. If you spend 30 days reading about how to do a push-up, but you never actually do one, you didn't get any stronger, you have to click the button.
And after that,
You review.
yeah,
Did it work? What did I learn? Celebrate that you did it, and then find the next gap.
it's a cycle. Learn, understand, act, review.
And then learn again. That little cycle is the engine that drives all of step 13.
You mentioned ACT, and that brings up one last concept from the material that I think is so important, the flight simulator. Because some people say, I learn by doing, I'll just throw some money at the market and figure it out. Why is that a bad idea here?
Because in finance, like in aviation, mistakes can be, well, lethal to your capital.
Yeah.
A pilot doesn't learn how to handle an engine failure by actually turning off an engine mid-flight with 300 passengers on board. They do it in a simulator.
Right, it's much better to crash the simulator than the actual jet.
Infinitely better. You're focused learning the books, the sprints. That is your flight simulator. It is far cheaper to spend $20 on a thook and realize an investment is a bad idea than it is to put $50,000 into it and lose it all.
So the cost of education is always cheaper than the cost of ignorance.
Always. Ignorance carries the highest interest rate of all.
That is a fantastic line. Okay, that really sums up why this is the parallel backbone.
It really does. And as we wrap this up, it is so important that we, reiterate. We're talking about people's futures here.
Absolutely. So we need to share our standard disclaimer. This show provides educational information about financial strategies. It is not financial advice. Everyone's situation is unique. Before making any decisions, please consult with qualified professionals who understand your circumstances. We are not advisors, and we are not recommending any specific investments.
So to recap step 13, it's the parallel backbone. Learning is your guidance system. The cycle is learn, understand, act, review, and then start again. Money is a language. Learn to speak it. Use the 30-day sprint to avoid getting overwhelmed. And remember that the shield of wealth always erodes without the wisdom to maintain it.
And if you want to go deeper on this, you need to go directly to the source. That's Tamir Kham's YouTube channel, The Golden Path to Financial Independence. You can find videos on all 13 steps there. The handle is at Tamir Goldpath.
And this brings us to, well, a pretty big moment in this series.
It really does. This was deep dive number 12. We've officially covered the entire roadmap, all 13 steps, the mindset, the stabilization, the assets, and now the learning that underpins it all.
You now have all the component parts. But we have one more deep dive left. In our next session, episode 13, we're going to do the final synthesis. We're going to take all these pieces, the stages, the steps, the analogies, and assemble them into one single operational picture. It's the capstone of this entire analysis.
I can't wait to see how it all clicks together. Thank you for listening to the Deep Dive.
To 2025 Tamir Khaham, all rights reserved. The Golden Path and the Golden Path to Phi are trademarks of Tamir Khaham.